Now, believe it or not, what you're about to witness is actually how I design my floor plans. And yeah, I'm sure if you've got a degree and you're an architect, you're going to be like, oh, you don't do stuff like that. Oh. Well, shush, it's okay. And in fact, I get a lot of questions asked on Instagram about like what degree I have to be able to do all the stuff that I do. And I actually have no degree. And in fact, I have very little education at all. I mean, I had to redo my A-levels 3 times to be able to get some actually good grades. So yeah, when I do say that I'm stupid and if I can manage to figure stuff out, you definitely can, there's actually a lot of truth behind what I'm saying. Now, my life's pretty chaos. I mean, there's always a million things going on, so everything's got to be as quick and efficient as possible. And as you can see here, all I'm doing is just measuring the land. Am I doing it super accurately? No. Are all the angles and all the corners of this bit of land perfect? No, I just don't really care. The things that I want to make sure is that I know properly like the dimensions of the area, so I can actually see if the size of the tiny house is actually going to fit. And then the next thing I wanted to do was also figure out where the sun is, because obviously south facing equals lots of sun, and I don't really know what sort of heating system I'm going to do on this yet, but the one benefit of obviously having a lot of sun is it's kind of like free heating, especially if you've got skylights. So the size of the tiny house that I'm going for is going to be 3.4 meters by 10 meters, and the reason for those dimensions is, well, yeah, there's quite a bit on that, and I'll probably get into that in the future. There is a lot of things that I want to be putting in this tiny house. It's got to have a small kitchen, an ensuite bathroom, a decent sized double bed, and a super nice like living room. So basically the first thing that I want to do is figure out all the average sizes of the things I want. So as you can see, I just basically start Googling things. What's the size of a toilet, a shower? What's the size of a bed? And I just kind of chuck it all in random places. Now, I don't really care about the layout so much at the moment. All I'm trying to do is figure out like what size a double bed actually looks like when it's put within this footprint. And the same for the bathroom, the same for the kitchen. Just Googling what's the average height of a work surface, how much overhang do you need to have on a little island, the size of an oven, a fridge. Just chuck it all in there and don't worry too much about the like practicalities of it yet. Like as you can see, I've basically got a bed covering half of a door. You don't want that, but I'm not worrying about that at this moment. As I said, everything's just got to be as efficient and as quick as possible. After a few more hours of designing, this is the floor plan that I've ended up with. And as you can see from up here, I've tried to split the 30 square meters up into basically 2 rooms. And the reason for this is I want to prioritize the square meter for where I'm going to spend the most amount of time. So for the ensuite, that's where I'm going to spend the least amount of time. So I'm going to make that the smallest. So as you can see, I've got the toilet, the sink, the shower. And then you might be wondering why this wall's a little bit offset, and that's because one thing some people forget to do is add space either side of a toilet. You see it quite often in loft conversions, and the thought behind this sort of setup is that I'm going to have like a sliding door, which obviously is going to be stored down the side of the toilet when the door's open, and then as soon as you shut the door, like this way, it's then going to move, which then frees up the space. As you can see, the bedroom is a little bit compromised. I initially started thinking like, oh, I want to have it so you can walk down either side. And then I thought, well, for that, what, half a meter by 3.4 meters, that's going to end up as being like 1.5 square meters just being used to walk down both sides of the bed. And I mean, considering how limited I am with space, to use 1.5 square meters just to be able to walk down both sides of a bed, to me it didn't seem that like efficient to use that space for this. So yeah, this is what I've ended up with. Now there is a little bit of a pinch point there. I don't really know how I'm going to get around that. Like that's probably like 50-60 centimeters at the moment, which isn't the end of the world, but I might just cut the corner of a bed off. You see that a lot on boats. So actually that's what I might do. See, sometimes when I say things like this, people think I'm joking, but I think I might just cut the corner of the bed off. Wait, let's just see what it looks like. Right, that's that decided. You might be thinking like, oh, where's all the storage and whatnot? Well, I don't really know. I haven't really thought about that yet, but I will probably build some sort of wardrobe system here and then have some like shelves. I do also have this corner here, which I could then build some storage into. Something else you might have noticed is there's no windows, and this is a little bit cheap of me, but if I'm asleep, right, it's dark, and if it's light outside, I wouldn't be in my room. So I kind of just thought, well, I might save like £1,000 and just not put any windows in here. But I will definitely put like a 200-300 quid skylight in the bathroom. In fact, I could get a proper sick one if I did it over the entire thing. If I did actually put a massive skylight in going over like 2 meters by like 40 centimeters, which I don't even know if they exist, when this door is open, that's going to then make this doorway into basically a window for this room, because all of that natural light's then going to go into this. So yeah, that's an idea. I haven't really thought about what sort of door I want to do here, but I think I'll probably just do it like a sliding door going into that wall. And then for the kitchen, this is the sort of setup that I've got going on. I've got a fridge, washing machine, oven, and an induction hob. And then this will be like a dishwasher. Something to think about is when you design your kitchen is obviously to remember that sinks take away the space of this area where it drops down. So obviously you wouldn't be able to put a dishwasher under a sink. Something else that's a little bit odd is that I'm going to try and put no cupboards on the wall here, which means that I'd have an extractor fan just around here, which I think would look a little bit ugly. So my idea is from the top of the fridge going all the way across to have this as your sort of storage area, and then put the extractor fan over here. Now it is a bit weird to not have it directly over it, but I don't know, I'm sure if I bought a powerful enough one, that would then send all of the like steam and whatnot up there, and then that also makes it really easy extracting it out of this wall here. Considering it's only 3.4 meters wide, I think that's actually gonna look quite spacious, and if I did do some sort of like wall unit like that, I don't know, I just feel like that's going to make it feel like the kitchen's taking a lot more of the space away from the rest of the room. To then try and save even more space, I made this, which is kind of like a breakfast bar and the like dining room table all in one. Obviously you'd only be able to seat 2 people, which is not ideal, but I just think if I were to put a legit dining room table in here, it would just look crowded. So yeah, that's kind of my idea behind this, is to try and make it all kind of like pushed to one side and then free up as much space for the living room. Now obviously you can see here there's a wood burner, TV, that's a pretty decent size sofa, like that's 3 meters by like 2 meters. This is going to be 2 big sliding doors, so that's probably like a 3 by like 1.8 meter high sliding door. Now there is quite a big negative with this part of the land, and that is the fence. Now as I showed you earlier in the video, it's south facing, but the fence, including the bank that it's on, is about 2.6 meters high. Which means from basically like lunchtime, the only light that I'm going to be getting is going to be coming through the skylights and the top part of this window, which is not ideal. It's going to make it feel pretty dark. There is also a bit of a negative with having a tiny house this big, is that the immediate external area around it is going to get obviously reduced, meaning that this space here, that's going to be quite narrow. And I mean, it's almost going to be in the shade all the time, which is not particularly brilliant. That is how I start designing floor plans, and this is my just first initial one. As you can see, it's messy. It doesn't look particularly brilliant. There's some stuff that I still need to figure out. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the overall design. As always, the next video is really up to you. Do you want to see how this plan adapts? Do you want to see how you can use some pretty sick AI software to basically draw it all for you, do all the renderings for you? So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little insight into how I just start sending it and drawing floor plans. And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We're actually getting pretty close to 10,000 subscribers, which is a pretty mad number.